Today we're speaking to Samuel Perry. They're a jewellery company here in the United Kingdom. They're young whippersnappers that have opened up a jewellery shop from scratch, and they do all the repairs and they want to expand the business. They bootstrapped it, used their own personal life savings after doing a serious career in one of the luxury retailers. Things are going very well. They're at a crossroads now because they're about to make some serious cash. What do they do with it? Well, I think they should buy some more jewellery shops. Let's find out. Welcome back to the Business Broadcast, the podcast designed to help grow your business. JB, do you wear any jewellery?
I only wear one wedding ring to show my my wife, my devotion.
Yeah, that's why you wear it.
Yeah.
Because you're made to wear it.
Exactly,
Nats told me I had to wear this.
Did she?
Yeah, she said you have to wear this.
No, I would wear it anyway. Only thing is annoying, I dropped a weight on it in the gym, so now it's a bit bent. So
just like its owner.
Just like its owner, yeah. Just a little bit bent.
So obviously today we've got a jewellery shop on the show.
Hence the question.
We've had one or two on before, pre you being on the pod.
When it was rubbish.
No.
Not according to the comments. Not according to the comments.
But, Chuds, do you wear any jewellery?
No.
No. Do men wear jewellery? Is a watch included in jewellery?
I think it is. I think it is. I've done some interesting facts for quite the week. I know the average household value of jewellery.
Is that you're going to interesting facts for the week?
Yeah.
We'll do that in a second.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to tell us about today's business?
I do indeed. Right, so we are going to be speaking today to Sam from The Family Jeweller, who in his own words said that if he hadn't listened and come across James Sinclair's YouTube channel, this business would not exist.
Wow.
They would have gone kaput.
Oh, wow.
And you were like, oh, I'm sure you're just being kind. He's like, no, seriously, I wouldn't have. These guys were primarily on Etsy. So they were doing jewellery stuff on Etsy. And then Etsy, because it is their platform, their playground, they decided they were going to take their ball and go home with it.
Wow.
So they changed their terms overnight. I went, yeah, we now hold on to your money for 75 days. And Sam was like, well, we can't wait for 2.5 months for our money, especially if you've got a big outlay of precious metals.
Why are they doing that? Is that because in case there is returns that...
Well, that's what I said to him. He said, no, I think it's for their cash
flow. Because Amazon
flow.
do similar stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if
I think it's more cash flow than...
A lot of people will put up with that because they want the sales.
They have to. Yeah. And Etsy, a lot of people make their money solely on Etsy, don't they? I was looking at, what are they called? These are called microphone muffs. I was looking for a printed muff. Tell you what, when you put in the search term printed muff, a lot of stuff comes up. Lucky I was on a private browser. Jeez, I'm not having cookies from that website coming up again. Let me tell you, I'll go back to the website, but I don't want the cookies. But there's a person on there and they just literally do printed muffs.
Yeah, yeah.
Only on Etsy. You literally can't find them online anywhere else.
It's because they can't be bothered to build the website doodly-doodly-doo.
No, exactly. They've got the traffic, haven't they? That's the thing with an Etsy or not on the high street or those sorts of platforms.
Let's play a little game. What would you say is the average gross profit for a jewellery shop? So for playing along at home, say you buy in £100 item, what would you sell it for?
Oh, I reckon they've got to be working on 50%, haven't they? So you've got to be selling it for 150. Oh, maybe more in jewellery.
Yeah, plus the VAT.
Yeah, maybe 100% then.
So you're buying it in for 100.
You're selling it for 200, I reckon, or 220, 240 if you're going with the VAT on top as well. So another.
I think that's too high. I don't think they will be doing that.
Do you not think?
No, I don't. I'll be interested to find out.
We'll find out in a second from Sam from The Family Jeweller. So
I think they'll be putting 60% gross profit on plus the VAT.
Plus the VAT. We'll find out in a second. So Sam was an Etsy jeweller. They changed their terms and he was like, well, we can't go on board with that. So they've gone it alone. So they've been going for 3 to 4 years online and they have just, because of the Etsy situation, they have now gone into bricks and mortar as well. So he's got bricks and clicks, which is your favourite thing. They are doing estimated monthly revenue is 40 to 60 grand with the big uplift coming at Christmas time. They have got 10 team members. But as always, they have got some challenges. The challenge number 1, balancing growth with cash flow. We're growing quickly with strong sales and demand, but ensuring we have the capital to fuel that growth without compromising quality or experience is a constant challenge. Challenge number 2, Building a brand that dominates locally while expanding into multiple locations without losing the core identity that made us successful in the first place. And then the third biggest challenge, managing personal bandwidth as owner-operators. We're wearing many hats as goldsmiths, managers, marketing, buying. Finding the balance between working in the business versus on the business is a constant challenge. Where do you want to be in 1 year's time? We always ask our entrepreneurs that. They said, at present, we have got 350 5-star reviews on Google in 1 year of being in our bricks and mortar location, with ourselves firmly placed on Google as the highest rated jeweller in Essex, whilst being nominated and winning awards in 3 categories. Fantastic. Across 2024 and 2025, running a multiple store operation with Samuel Perry as the go-to jeweller across Essex. We want to remain firmly established as the jeweller of choice in Basildon, with at least 1 additional store trading profitably and our digital presence that's driving consistent online sales as well. What will the business look like when it's finished? They want 10 to 15 sites across South, East and Essex, retaining their 5-star rating across all the platforms, and be known for their expert craftsmanship, exceptional service, and a combination of contemporary and classic jewellery for all occasions. Multiple locations, an industry-leading repair and restoration service, and a thriving online business. Do you make the profit that you want to make? And if so, what is it? It said, not yet. However, we're close, but reinvesting heavily into expansion and marketing. We're targeting 800 grand turnover this year with around 60% gross profit. He always bloody knows, doesn't he? There's one thing James Sinclair knows, is that James Sinclair's always right. Had you looked at this before?
No, I promise.
Oh, really?
No, but that's the usual thing for this
sort of sector. So they got 800 grand turnover. They're targeting 800 grand turnover this year with 60% gross profit, but net profit is tied to due to growth into stock systems and driving our ATV.
What they need to do, though, guys, if I know they're listening in the wings, you need to create a dashboard for running the shop that shows, your operating profit. So before these exceptional items like, store fit outs and stuff like that. And if you're doing big marketing campaigns to get people to know you're there, and then you go into just the generalized marketing so that you can really see, the operating profit. So you should have gross profit, operating profit, net profit.
Right.
Because I think it's important when you're growing, because you can think, doing all this work and I'm making nothing.
Well, that's what he was saying. They're about to they'll be debt-free by the end of this month because they've been repaying all of the outlay of cost for their first bricks and mortar store. Yeah, because
you might do 50 grand on awareness marketing in your first year, and then you'll go down into just
tick over
marketing.
Yeah.
And that's why operating profit is important, because it keeps you going. And that's why these dashboards can be really important. I done my newsletter this week. Have you read it?
No.
What did you think of this week's newsletter, Chance?
Honestly, perspective, I've heard you say that all before, so it was just very well written knowledge, I guess.
Okay, fine.
It was less insightful from someone that knows your stuff.
All right.
Just edit in a different answer. Just say it was really good. Ask him again and we'll edit it.
If you've never heard that before, then it'd be incredibly useful.
No, but it's good. R&R is very important. Refresh and remind.
Shut is my favourite person in this podcast. I just love it.
No, but
refresh and remind.
Yeah, refresh and remind. And I was thinking I was really peed off with our teams. Like, what happens in business is we all chase the top line revenue because it's the easiest metric to track. What's your turnover this year? What are you going to turn this year? Like, it's a big question that entrepreneurs are asked. It's because we know it off the top of our head. That's why I think we use it as our...
It's that in head count, isn't it? How many people you got? How much you turning?
Yeah.
What does that matter? How much is in your pocket?
Yeah, exactly that. And so I was talking about, well, actually, what's the better metric that you can, because what happens is people need to go to Rachel from accounts to get their monthly profit and loss. They need another person to tell them their profit. I mean, they might roughly know their profit, but really that needs to go on to Xero, make sure your bookkeeping's all up to date, or, Sage, whatever product you use. But I think average customer value is your turnover divided by your amount of customers. I think that could be known off the top of your head very quickly with just using this fantastic piece of software called Excel or Google Sheets that are next to free. And then you can track that. And I think that's the fastest way of getting close to making sure that your profits increase rather than just making sure your top line increases. What I'm trying to say here is that dashboard could really very quickly, if you put in the amount of customers, the amount of transactions, how many people walked in through the door, how many transactions, you can get a very good counter that tells you that. It goes above the door and it counts the people that go in. Then you work out how many actually transact with you, because then you say, well, we had 300 people in today, but only 50 transacted. What's happening to, the other? So did I say 300 people in, only 50 transacted? What's happened to the 250? Have we not got good enough customer service to say, how can we help you today? Or was the pricing not clearly defined? Like all of those things that you can do to manufacture a better bottom line. And then, so basically creating a daily dashboard that counts the amount of hours, that counts your average transactional value. I would also put the weather of the day, because that massively affects retail. If it's a super sunny day, hottest day of the year, no one's going to the shops. Unless you're selling barbecue stuff. If it rains too much, that can sometimes stop people going out. If the weather's just grey, overcast, that can be great for retail. Because that's, and then you start tracking similarities on a daily dashboard. And we do that in all of our businesses. Why did I get so peed off? Because, I'm looking at average customer value on some of our sites over the last couple of weeks and not where they need to be. And then I was annoyed with myself because I wasn't keeping an eye on it as much as I should be. ACV, or average transactional value, is the thing that you need to keep reminding yourself to track.
How much of it do you keep an eye on now? Are you like monthly board meeting level and they have to report back to you?
What the reason I'm bringing it up is because, even though I talk about it as my 3 golden KPIs to track monthly profit and loss, average customer value, and what you're spending on labour as a percentage of your turnover, keeping an eye on all those 3 things. That's why I keep going on about it, because, even me, knowing this stuff, I'll quickly, first of all, go and see what the revenue of each store has taken that day, because that's cash flow. And then I'll go to labour, if we've overspent on labour, and then I'll go to average customer value. But some days I'm so busy that I haven't kept an eye on it enough. And the more you talk about it, the more it improves. There's that little phrase, where energy goes, money flows. And if you focus your energy on increasing average customer value, guess flipping what? You increase average customer value.
So what were you annoyed about in that instance there? Because
I'm not on it enough.
But you should need to be on it, should you? Surely.
Come on, don't be stupid. I've got to keep talking about it. It's my job to keep talking about, because I do think those 3 things are so important.
But when you're trying to buy 10 things at a given time, surely is that not...
Poor excuse, JB. I've got to be better.
But is that not an operating the business, not a growing it thing that you would tell people to do?
Well, no, because if your average customer value is always increasing, it's growing, isn't it?
Yeah, okay.
And if I'm not talking about it enough, it's not becoming cultural.
Fine, okay.
Why do people go to church on a Sunday? They know it's the same thing every Sunday, but it's like, it's the 10 Commandments. Why do schools do assemblies? Why do armies do roll call? The roll call the army does is exactly the same as the roll call they done yesterday, but it's like,
we're still here. We're still doing this thing. This is still our mission.
You can't just exercise once a month and expect results.
No. Have you started thinking differently about this stuff since you had what's the secret shopping brand you bought? Interaction.
Well, those things.
Is that change
you want to have? They wouldn't track average customer value as much. They would track what the customer perceives of the business.
No, but have you, since you've bought them and you've bought them in to do secret shopping in your organisation, are you sort of thinking about what's important in those environments, or is it refreshing and bringing it back to front of mind?
Yeah, all of that. But this is on a numbers point of view. Like if I had a shop, average customer value, I would drive my brain to be looking at that above what we're taking in the shop.
Really?
Which is very hard to do.
Yeah.
Because we took $2,000 today. You go and say, anyone that's got a pub, we took $5,000 today, or, it's been a really good weekend. We took $25,000 this week. Really what you want to really try and train your brain is what was the transaction per customer? Because if it was £9.50 on a 25 grand taking week, but the week before you'd done 10 grand and it was 14 quid, you've let the business down or you've let yourself down. Because if you could have got that turnover to be higher, that spend per head to be higher, you would have been more profitable.
Yeah. Do you have to accept that in certain, like in that analogy with the pub, let's say if it's a busy sunny day and there's more people in, then you're not going to be able to get the spend per head as high as...
Yeah, because that's what happens. Like we're having a really busy day, and so you've got the gratification that the takings have been really high. But if you haven't got enough staff on, you haven't prepped up enough, so the food's not going out quick enough. That makes it slow, so therefore people don't order more because they've been waiting more. Like if you feed people quickly, they might go, "Let's have a dessert. Let's have another drink." This has been a really nice, relaxed environment. If customer service is really good, people go, "Should we stay for another one? Come on then, let's have a coffee." We're having if the music's just right, the ambience is just right, they'll stay and they'll spend more.
So that average customer value is almost the initial signal, and then you have to do a deep dive into those other aspects of it. So
because usually, like 99 times out of 100, the higher the turnover, the higher the take-ins, the lower the customer value.
Right.
Because everything sort of takes a back seat.
Because it gets a bit stretched.
Yeah.
Right.
If you go into retail, people picking up a load of stuff and they see a massive queue and they go, "Oh,
can't be bothered.
Can't bother to queue up for that. Let's not buy."
Yeah. The shops, obviously you're doing it on a...
So like McDonald's would be tracking that and go, "Let's put self-serving so we can, that will then make the queues go down faster."
And someone like a McDonald's, would they be looking at, they'll be sort of tracking every single person that comes through the door, they'll be doing that?
Yeah, they'll have thermal counters above the doors, counting people in, then how many people transact, and then what do they spend on transactions?
Wow.
How long do people stay in store? When the data is really important, but but McDonald's is a multi-billion, biggest restaurant chain in the world. All of those, employing someone really good to track all that sort of stuff, that will give a return on investment. If you've got one jewellery shop, you're not going to be able to do that complicated, nuanced data.
You don't need to either, do you?
No, you don't need to. But what you do need to do is you're tracking
50 people
KPIs.
came in. Yeah. So would you say that ACV, if you could only track one KPI, would be that above and beyond turnovers and take-ins?
There's no two ways about it. You're going to track your revenue taking as the number one metric.
Because it's the easiest thing to see.
Cash flow.
Yeah.
And you need it. You just need to go, well, look, last year we were doing £180 per transaction. How can we get it to 200? And that's a very good conversation to have. And if you've got thermal image counter or a thermal counter, or how many times the door's been open, it could be as simple as that. The door's been open 1,000 times today, and only 100 people bought. So that means 90% of the people coming in the shop have not bought.
Yeah.
Why is that? And they're good questions to ask.
Yeah. Well, like that. Final thing that we didn't say about Sam's business, though, we were talking about his challenges. We asked him, how do you spend your time day to day in the business? He said a mixture of leadership, hands-on customer interaction, buying, team training, and constantly working on the strategy, pushing sales, reviewing marketing performance, and making sure every customer walks out with an experience like no other. And then there's a bunch of questions that he'd like to ask to you as well. So it sounds like we're in for an interesting conversation for sure. But before that,
interesting
it's time for this.
Interesting quote of fact. Interesting quote of fact. It's time for the interesting quote of fact of the week.
I've got a fact related to the jewellery industry. I was quite surprised by this. What do you reckon? Chuds can play along as well here because he never gets to play along with these quizzes. He's normally done the quiz. What would you say is the average household value of jewellery in the United Kingdom?
I have some from. Sorry, that was funny.
The average household value of jewellery in the United Kingdom as an average.
5,000.
I was about to say 5,000, but I'm going to go 5,500.
You would be correct then. Guesstimations average that it's between £6,000 and £15,000.
Come on, Chad. So it was good for both of us.
I mean, you think there's 27 million households in the United Kingdom. That is a serious amount.
A lot of inherited, though.
Yeah.
A lot of inherited people passed down.
I wonder how much of that's new. Like, how many is new purchases?
I reckon a lot, a very small percentage. Like I say, a lot of it's going to be like grandma passed it to your mum, passed it to you.
You mean my watch is, Harvey will have this, and I've bought Nats another watch, and Darcy will have that.
Yeah.
We've already planned that this will be on their wrists in our demise.
Yeah.
What do you think the average age of a new jewellery purchase is? Do you think 50 plus are the most top buyers, or is it 20-year-olds?
Wedding rings.
It's going to be wedding engagement rings.
So 30s, people in their 30s.
Yeah, you're getting hit up for this soon, mate.
Chances already.
This is you.
Because he knows he's not buying it until he's in his 30s. He's
45,
with Hannah.
50.
Do you know Jesus was alive when he got with Hannah, but she's still not engaged?
Just a quick one. It was in New York, and on the way to the airport, the taxi driver was asking us questions and stuff, and he was like, "How long have you been married?" I was like, "We're not." And he went, "Why not?" And just stared me down.
Oh,
it was just
uncomfortable.
there is massive society pressure.
Yeah.
It really annoys me as well.
Which
What if I
also-
don't want to get married?
Yeah, and also when you get to like a certain age and they're like, oh, when you're having kids. Like actually people like ask that innocently, but like
I feel like
maybe we're trying and you can't. Like
that's a good question though, because having kids is going to be amazing. But like,
yeah, but some people
me and Hannah being married doesn't affect the taxi driver, does it? I don't know why he was asking me.
yeah, maybe just wanted to judge you.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe he thought something.
Did you really look forward to having kids?
Did I look forward to it? No.
No, I didn't.
No,
It's
not
funny,
really.
chances. No, I was nervous and worried about it.
I was.
Yeah.
I still am.
No.
Oh, I
Once
got
they're
worried
there,
about
you
it.
just love it once you're there. But oh my God, I was.
It's
worried.
one of those things that
When I was a kid's entertainer. I mean, I've worked with kids my whole life.
yeah, same here.
It's
but
that
it's different though, isn't it?
it was the ultimate responsibility.
You will never be ready for children.
No, that's very true.
You will never be ready for children. You get ready when they're here.
What do you think about that quote? If you can't feed, don't breed.
I think it's very true.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people.
Yeah, very true. That pressure to look after a little human being. Because I think if you don't have a certain level of comfort, which I appreciate a lot of people might not have, then I don't think you can fully embrace and enjoy the process. Like, see people who've done very well, they're like, oh yeah, I took a month off to be with my newborn kids. Like, shut up. I was working the next day.
Yeah.
Like that same week, Hayley built a website when our mate came over to see our baby and ended up holding him for 4 hours so Hayley could finish off a website. Yeah. But you'll be all right, Chuds. You'll be all
No,
right.
I am looking forward to it. I think we're good.
Well, he's chosen a primary school teacher as his wife.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
he's
yeah,
really-
it'd be fine.
Wife? I just said we're not married.
Yeah, but once.
Yeah, societal pressure again.
Let me tell you now, he's getting married. I've met Mrs. Trudley to be. She's
getting married.
desperate to marry you, isn't she? And why would she?
No,
not?
not
but I
putting
say
words
we're-
in anyone's mouth.
She's just. I saw her the other day. She came to a party we had here, and she said, "I can't wait to be Mrs. Chudley on a t-shirt."
Did she say it on a
No,
t-shirt?
she didn't.
Really? That's
Make,
lovely.
make me a wife rather than making
Make
America
marriage
great
great
again.
again.
Make me a Chudley.
Make me a Chudley.
Oh, dear.
To be that age. Well, how old are you,
But he
Chuds?
needs-
He's not even 30, is he?
28.
Jesus Christ, man.
No, but these guys need. I mean, the whole thing about engagement rings, that was all created through marketing.
What was it?
Yeah, that wasn't a thing. That whole.
The marketing bastards got us again.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to a podcast on it, and I think it was
It's like Tiffany's.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
was
think-
it?
and
Okay.
they said, that it's got to be 3 months' salary and all of that. That was a whole marketing thing that they've created. Because
That
very
is
interesting,
genius.
very, very interesting about jewelry is you just don't know the value of it unless you're in the industry. It's not.
No.
It's not a pint of milk where you go, well, that's what's a pint of milk? I don't know.
I was about to say.
It's not a Mars bar that's, it's a pound. It's much more a pair of scissors, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you don't know how much a pair of scissors is
No,
without
that's it.
doing some proper research.
No. And it also, I think, doesn't matter how much it is, it will always feel like an absolute fortune based on where you are at that time of your life.
Well, what really, you need to be buying watches for your spouses because
What, more than a ring?
well, that's an appreciating asset. It didn't go down well when I suggested it.
Wow.
You don't want an engagement ring. Let's get
You want a Rolex?
Get you a Rolex because that'll be
Appreciate-
worth more when you sell it. Whereas an engagement ring depreciates.
Slightly ruins a romance, doesn't it? Like a beach in the Maldives. Do you, Natalie Sinclair, take this Rolex as a sign of my appreciation asset value that I perceive you as?
But they do depreciate engagement rings. You buy an engagement ring,
I'm not worried about it. Like my next engagement ring I buy, like I'm going to take that one really seriously. This one, this old tat, I'll get it right the second time round. I'm sure I will.
Fine.
I tell you what though, jokes aside, for a business like this that probably relies a lot on specialism jewellery, there must be a real concern about the fact that people are getting married less.
Are people getting married less or getting married later?
Both. And I think that this generation that's coming through, apparently, like the younger generation, like kids in their like 20s, like there's less going out, there's less dating, there's less people having sex. Like we're just having less human to human connections.
What? Sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, sex is declining, isn't it?
Yeah. Not just in our world either. It's an epidemic, Sinclair. Don't worry about it. I thought it just brushed my household. I thought I'd been marked with the cross, the cross of the scourge. This too shall pass. No, but apparently it's a thing.
Yeah. Steve Jobs' fault, inventing the iPhone.
Exactly. He gave us with one hand and took away with the other. Yeah. There you go. Anyway, shall we get Sam on the pod?
Hey gang, we're going back to the pod in just a moment, but I wanted to tell you about Entrepreneurs University. This is a platform that I've created for entrepreneurs and business owners that are serious about growth. There's 100 video lessons from me on everything in business, raising finance, buying companies, property investment, and everything in between. Attached to each video is a downloadable PDF that goes into more detail about what we've learned in the video. It goes one step further than that because I've also put stuff that you won't get anywhere else onto Entrepreneurs University. The lessons go into way more detail, but not just that. You're going to get my business plans, my spreadsheets, and all the files that I use to drive the KPIs in my business. Just think about how powerful that could be for your business. And here's the good news. You can try Entrepreneurs University for free. 14-day free trial. After that, it will cost you just $49.99 a month. That's less than a pair of Nikes to grow the profitability in your business. There's a link in the video description, and I cannot wait to see you in Entrepreneurs University. Let's get him
on the pod. Hey, Sam, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you both? How are you all three?
We're the three of us having a lovely little time here, mate, as you can probably hear. But tell us in your own words, mate, about this wonderful company. Tell us about the Etsy origin story and how you pivoted to bricks and clicks.
So effectively, this is a business between myself and my best friend, Perry. We've been best friends since we were like 13, 14, and we've worked in the jewellery industry ever since we were 16. We decided around lockdown when work was getting very difficult and obviously a lot of places were closing down because of the coronavirus, we decided that we would go at it ourselves. We would open an Etsy shop, an eBay shop, and try and really start our own business from there. However, it got to 2023, the December, literally a few days before Christmas, and Etsy had decided to change their payment policy. So they were now holding on to 75% of the funds for up to 90 days, which wasn't a reflection on us as a business, but it was highlighted by the BBC, ITV around the time of what was going on, because a lot of businesses were relying on obviously their December funds to be able to go ahead and replenish in January and keep the business going. So when that happened in the December. And at that point, for us, it was really stick or twist. As you mentioned earlier on the introduction, I have been listening to James Sinclair's podcast for a long, long time. And I think if I hadn't listened to it, I don't think we would be where we are today, because I wouldn't have had the knowledge or the skills that I'd learned from listening to these podcasts. To be able to go out and do it. So effectively we went on, we thought, right, what can we do now to be able to save ourselves, basically? And I went down to the Basildon Shopping Centre, which is very close to me, only about 10, 15 minutes down the road. Had a little look around to see there were a few empty units, and we had a conversation. And from there, the last bit of money we had, I think it was just over 100,000 left, we put straight into the business. And yeah, we opened.
You had 100,000 from where?
From our trading personal money of my own, and obviously money that we'd made online as well. That was literally my life savings.
And how old are you now, mate?
I'm 31.
Oh, bloody hell, not many 31-year-olds have got 100 grand saved.
No, bloody hell.
But no, although I do believe, I think it's because of where I've worked in some very, how can I say, some very luxury businesses in the industry. I was the youngest sales manager for Harrods Fine Watches and Jewellery. So I've always had a good wage. I've always earned a good salary. However, it got to the point where the Etsy situation happened, and we decided, I've got the experience of running like very high level retail jewelry businesses, and Perry is very much in the manufacture and the workshop side of things. So we thought, you know what, this is our last chance. Let's give it a go. We chucked everything into it. I mean, even on the day that we opened, we was down to our final £200, and it was either deciding whether to buy some nice cakes and drinks for all the customers on our opening day, or to buy a fire door for upstairs. So we ended up stealing the fire door from upstairs to put down, just so that we could give our new customers some drinks and some little niblets on our first day of opening.
So have you topped up your savings yet?
Oh, no, absolutely not. No. As a business, we have been servicing debt throughout the first year, and I had mentioned to JB on the pre-chat that we're literally, by the end of this month, we would have finished servicing that debt. So currently, in terms of like net profit at the end of each month, by the end of May, we'll be looking at around about £20,000 worth of free cash flow to be able to reinvest into the business, whether that be upscaling our management team. I've been working on trying to get a really good management team in place to start pushing our internet side of the business more with the advertising and the revenue.
So
with the ad revenue.
So the money you borrowed, was that to buy stock for the shop?
Yes. So where we'd already traded online and already built up relationships with a number of wholesalers and manufacturers, I lent on that relationship, explained the situation that obviously it was a case of do or die, and we was quite good customers for a lot of the businesses that we were doing business with. So they gave us some really good terms on like 60, 90, 120 days, and we just made it work from there.
I love that. You ask the questions, help will come. Now listen, before we go any further into this, me and JB have missed out a big part of our show, which will annoy customers or listeners greatly. We haven't done interesting fact or quote of the week.
I've just done a fact. I've done my quote. My fact was about the jewellery industry.
What was yours?
About how much the average household has in terms of jewellery.
Oh, yeah. Did you play the jingle and do all that?
I played the jingle and all that, yeah.
Did I do one?
You've had too much sugar. It causes dementia.
But I do one.
No, we don't need all that nonsense.
Well, I need to give my...
Sorry, Sam, you're good. You can join in with this part now.
Yeah,
then, mate.
sorry, just stay there.
Well, I've got one if that helps.
Yeah, go on, go on, Sunshine. What's your favourite quote?
So you mentioned earlier regarding the amount of young people not marrying. Let me give you a statistic. Over the past decade, remarriages have risen by 22% for men and 36% for women over the age of 50.
That's the counter argument. Lots of people get married more than once.
This is true. Tell us those
So if you went back 50 years ago,
for what? For men, and how much for women?
36 for people over the age of 50. Wow. And if you break it down even further, actually men aged 60 to 69 are more likely to get remarried than the women aged 50 to 54.
Wowee.
Yeah, we didn't think of that, did we, Charles? We were just, JB, we were just talking about young people, but most people once they've done it once, they go again. Sometimes again. Jim Davison, do you remember Jim Davison? 5 times Jim.
Is he 5 times?
5 times he's been married.
I heard, I started reading a book last night, Matthew McConaughey's book, Green Lights. His mum and dad were divorced and married 3 times to the same people. They've got divorced twice and married 3 times. How
to themselves?
To themselves.
Right.
How mad is that? What if you buy an engagement ring each time for that?
I've got some. Here we go.
Go on then.
I like this. If you always do what you always did, you will always get what you always got. This one is... This is, yes, go on, Chuds.
What you just said there was JB's quote.
No, it wasn't.
2 episodes ago.
No, it wasn't.
Rewritten.
But it sounds better.
Well, I'm just saying it was the same thing, and you like it.
But
But you didn't like JB.
he chooses he plays all the right notes, just not necessarily in the right order.
Story of my life.
But this one here, and I'm going to quote them, the Gower Laundry Company. This is my all-time favourite, his words, but it's fast becoming mine. Networking is the only one vowel away from not working. So networking is only one vowel away from not working.
Yes.
People go to these networking meetings.
Very true.
He also, Gower Laundry Company says, shy boys get no sweets. That's my two.
That's also very true.
There we go.
Right, there we go. We've had three interesting facts or quotes as well. So Sam's joined as well. Right, okay, cool. So Sam, you were telling us about your business. So the Etsy thing happened, and then like you mentioned, it was do or die. So how fast did you go from? And sorry, with the Etsy situation, how much notice did they give traders, or did they just go, oh, by the way, this is a new change in terms of service as of today?
So it was an email they sent out on the 22nd of December, which funnily enough, I wouldn't say funnily enough, was a day before or the day after they decided to put the block on the accounts by sending the money out after 90 days rather than that. So we only literally had a day's notice, and a day before we was meant to get, I think it was a payment of about £25,000. So it was, it wasn't great.
So
However,
can I just ask, do you still do anything with them now?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. For me and for Perry, we truly believe that if you run a business like a table and it only has one leg, if you chop that leg off, there's no business. So now with this, where we've opened a bricks and mortar, we're starting to build our table up with more legs, be able to give ourselves more opportunities to make money. So this was where my thought was when we expand the business and we open into more stores. Will it give us a bit more protection rather than all of our eggs being in one basket, basically?
Cool. I've just got some questions on the business. So you're on 60% gross profit. What level of stock do you need to sit on to make everything tick in the business in terms of value?
So in terms of the stock in business at the moment, we do have around 200,000 at cost, which obviously once you mark it up, we're just over 500,000. And in terms of, we do a lot of special orders bespoke. So I'd say 30 to 40% of our sales is through design through our on-site workshop. The rest would be through gold buying, where we can make a margin there. We've also got a few other high margin products that we also sell, like the permanent jewellery, where you can have the bracelets welded onto your wrist. Quite funny story about this. We had these bracelets in stock for about. We had these bracelets in stock for about 2 or 3 years. These sterling silver ones that I think we must have paid £5-10 for. Couldn't sell them for love nor money for £25. Now we then decided to get a laser. Decided to take the clasps off the bracelet and change it into an experience where we weld the bracelet onto the wrist using a jump ring, and we now sell them for £79.
I've never heard of a welded bracelet.
No, other than when I've watched what's the Black Panther? The Black Panther, they all have welded jewellery on, don't they?
I'm showing your age there, mate. I've got no idea.
Well, the Black Panther. What do
Yeah.
you mean showing your age? What, the film that came out like 3 or 4
sorry, I'm
years
thinking
ago?
about Pink Panther. So, right, sorry.
So when you say on-site workshop, you've got a workshop that does all the polishing, resizing, all on site.
Absolutely, and so that is our unique selling point as a business. So there isn't many jewelers that have goldsmiths on site, even to the point where our shop has 3 levels to it. We wanted to sweat the asset by effectively doing B2B jewelry repairs for other businesses. So about 6 months into opening the store, we built the workshop upstairs for multiple goldsmiths to work. We did have a really good start. We managed to get 10 B2B accounts on board, and these were all local jewelers who people would consider competitors of ours. However, they don't have goldsmiths on site. They send them away to other workshops. However, it didn't really work out with the person that we had up in the workshop, but it definitely proved a proof of concept in that if we found the right goldsmiths to employ under our name, we would be able to expand on a B2B basis to not only 10 accounts, but we could probably do this side of England, the south of England, in terms of jewelry repairs, because there really is no B2B businesses out there that do that sort of thing.
And so how much does the goldsmith cost? What sort of salary is that?
£40,000 a year for a good one.
And so how many have you got doing that now? Just one?
So on the site at the moment, there's 3 of us. There's me, Perry, and one other chap as well. But previously, because obviously, as I said, they weren't the right type of person for our business, so we had to let them go. We did have, I think it was 4 or 5 goldsmiths upstairs at any one point as well. So the actual B2B side of things were going really, really well. But I'm sure, as you guys know, it's all about the people in your business. And if you can't trust the people that you're working with, or trust for them to do the right thing, it's sometimes you just have to say, no, thank you.
And is it competitive? Do you think people do buy on price?
I would say so. I think in terms of, like, for example, you mentioned about on the dashboard, keep an eye on your average transaction value. I think as soon as I opened this store, that dashboard was something that I'd already worked on in previous businesses anyway. So I knew how effective it was in driving your KPIs and understanding how your business is operating. Like, to give you an example, like in 2024, our average transaction value was £189. We've now increased that in 2025 so far to £346. So we've nearly, I'd say 60-70% up on our average transaction value. And I would say that is very much down to the, how can I say, like the social proofing we have online. If you type in Jewellery Essex or you type in Jewellery Basildon, where the KPIs in my business is around obviously top line sales revenue, average transaction value, but the amount of 5-star Google reviews that we get as a business. So we push the team to ask all of our customers to give a review, whether it's positive or not. Thankfully, every single review we've had so far has been 5-star positive, which is pretty unheard of, I would say, in terms of like retail reviews and that sort of thing. But those 3 KPIs are the main things as a business we focus on, and I do believe when you focus on those things and you focus on good customer service and the experience you're giving, people are willing to pay more because they're buying from the people that are making the jewellery.
Yeah. So
do you think the awards have made a difference as well in terms of social proof? Because I see you're Independent Jewellery Retailer of the Year 2024 and a 2025 nominee. Do you think that makes a big difference?
I think I think whenever you are, whenever your business is put in front of other businesses or you've been voted on by your competitors, I think that's a really strong message that what we're doing is not just right for our customers, but what we're doing is right in the industry as well, because they are awards. They've been nominated by other people within the industry. These aren't customer awards that we've been given. These are awards within the rest of the network, within the jewellery industry.
Sorry, just so many things that do you take people's jewellery in and resell it, or is that not what you do?
So we do offer an on behalf of service where we take the piece in, we repolish it, clean it, and if there's any minor work that needs to be done as part of the service, we will bring it back to brand new on the basis that we can then have the
jewellery.
No, we don't do any pawnbroking or anything like that. It brings a type of customer that really isn't the type of customer that we want in our shop, to be honest. So
do you sell watches as well?
So with the watches, it's a slightly more complicated position. It's quite political in the watch industry. You need to have certain brands to get certain brands. So you use Rolex, for example. In order to get Rolex, you would need to have gone through the rigmarole of starting with Swatch, Tissot, and then you start getting other brands that offer themselves to you, like Tag Heuer, Breitling, Omega. And once you've proven that you can run with those brands for 10, 15, 20 years, you'll start seeing Rolex knock on your door. It's not, you can't approach them, they approach you. So this is why there's so much focus on giving such great customer service, pushing our social proof, because when they are looking to expand their B2B accounts, or if they want to open a new wholesale account, we want to be the first people they look at and say, look, these guys have got a track record of giving a 5-star experience to every single customer. They may not have the watches yet, but it's something that we can build with, or a business we can work with.
That's why buying established jewelers that might have those connections would be a very smart thing to do. That's where I've been expanding into. If you can buy baby boomers selling off 50-year-old established jewelry companies that might have those connections already, you can leapfrog with your energy and enthusiasm.
No, absolutely. I've already been in contact with 2 local jewelry stores that have been operating quite successfully in the area with that exact thought to take over that baby boomer business, whether it be through, like you said, like what you recommend in previous videos, like going to the bank, doing a 50-50 vendor finance sort of deal, or even on a weekly basis, There was one gentleman who's got a really nice jewellery store in Billericay High Street who is, he's very interested, but I think he wants to see how we do this year before he commits his business to me.
Cool. Does he sell watches?
He does.
So that'd be great for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think if we was able to encompass another brand or a business that's been trading 50, 60 years and they already have those brands in their portfolio, that would make my life 10 times easier. And I'm quite lucky in the fact that where I've been in the watch industry for so long, obviously having worked in Harrods, I have great relationships with the watch brands. However, they are still saying, look, you need to get an entry-level Swiss brand, but we've not been able to do this because we've been servicing debt for the last year. So literally, we're at the point now where we're going to be £15,000-20,000 worth of like free cash flow each month. So this is kind of why I came on the podcast, was to ask the question: what do you think would be, or what would you recommend would be the next?
Well, I've just told you that if this is my business now, I would keep that shop and look for other ones that are established that have already got instant cash flow and try and buy them over a period of time. They're easier to fund. They've already, I think that's a no-brainer. That's what I would be focusing on, because when you've done it now, when you start a shop from scratch, the energy, the enthusiasm, the time, the hours that need to go into that. But if you can buy something that is making money and it's 50 years old and 40 years old and 30 years old and the owners want to get out, I think that's a massive opportunity. So that's what I'd be doing.
Definitely. That's definitely something that I'm actively doing and considering moving forward as well, for sure.
What's great, you start a new shop, you might not even take any money on day one, but you got an established shop and then they're not doing any of the repairs and all of that. And then you can sneak that into there as well. Add that into there within your little ecosystem. You have better buying power. You've got instant cash flow. Yes, you're servicing the debt, but you've got cash flow that allows you to do that. That's much more predictable.
And the thing is, I think we are quite lucky in the sense of my journey through the industry. I've brought people on board for me from like friends, people that I went to school with, and now the 4 people in my senior management team all have 5 years minimum jewellery experience. So these are people personally I know that I've brought on my journey from like 16, 17, 18 years old. I've now brought them into the Samuel Perry universe, basically, and brought them on board. So we are quite lucky in the fact that we do have some really great experienced people that when you talk about a good management team, the management team I have are amazing. We've got an operations manager, sales manager, and Perry looks after our VIP and repair customers as well. Each have their own KPIs, each have their own area of the business that they focus on, which has really given me the time to be able to have these conversations on the podcast. This time last year when we first opened, it would have been impossible. There would be no opportunity for me to be able to go and have these conversations like now, to be able to try and push our business. But we are doing very well. Last week was our record week, which is quite nice to come on the podcast and say. And in March we did more than we did in December, which is almost unheard of in jewelry retail. So we definitely are on a good path. I think where I just don't have, being 31 and I don't have that mentor, is I think sometimes it's quite difficult to action some things without maybe touching base with people, if that makes sense.
I understand. Why don't you get a mentor?
Yeah, no, that is a very valid point. If there's any going on the podcast, please let us know.
Anyone there?
Also, someone there, JB. Sorry, we might have the next person in the wings. Sorry about that. Well, I think that there will always. You should.
Hello.
Oh, sorry. One sec. We're just trying to sort something out there.
It's the next person. We'll come to you shortly. Hold fire. We'll come to you in a little while.
I think what I would do is find a successful jewellery person that's got 4 or 5 shops and get them to mentor you and pay them.
Great idea.
Yeah, no, that is a great idea.
There was someone that had 5 jewellery shops, that was on a couple of years ago, but he had a pawn side to the business, but he might know other. But look, just find someone that's, where you want to be and ask them, say, look, How can you be my mentor? Can I pay you each month?
No, that is a great idea. And look, I think something like that would definitely help me as a business person. Look, I understand business to an extent. However, I think as you grow your business, I think sometimes you need a little bit more technical support, I would say.
Yeah. So have you got a good accountant?
Yes, we do.
Where are they based?
They're based in Basildon, just over our Cranes Farm Road.
What, Phil Cooksley?
No. What is the name of them?
Fred and Boyden?
No, it is.
Yeah,
it
don't worry.
literally fell off the top of my head.
No, don't worry. Just if it, you think you've got a good accountant, but how do you know if you've not met 4 others?
Fair enough.
And if your accountant should connect you with people, I mean, I would just consider, because I've had 4 or 5 accountants over my time, and I think I've got just someone outstanding at the moment that I really care about. That I just think you don't know. You think they're the best, but if you haven't had multiple experiences, same with solicitors, same with bank managers, same with any professional advisors, and you might have the best. The other thing I suggest you do is you should definitely come to my business masterclass. Come to that 2-day event 100%. In London. Have you done any of my seminars?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't been to any of your seminars yet, mainly because I didn't have the money to do so with the business in its first year, but it is very much something that's on my agenda.
It's not thousands, it's a few £100. You should definitely go to that, because
business masterclass would be the one for you.
Yeah, definitely. And you will meet, lots of bank managers there, accountants there, some really good people, and you'll learn a ton of stuff. And I think that'd be a very good few £100 investment into your brain. And you should bring your business partner along so that you both, upskill yourself.
No, that's a fantastic idea. Consider us there.
Yeah, so that's when is that? September the 15th and 16th of September this year. Big 2-day event in London. You'll love it. You'll really well.
Reach out to Nico as well. Nico Colby in Billericay. He's got a third generation. Yeah, they're really. He's nice, Nico. Nice fella.
So it's the 16th and 17th of September.
16th and 17th of September. There you go.
Cool. Any questions there, JB? There
was a couple. I think you've already answered a few. So let me just quickly circle back to question 1 was about what would be the smartest way to expand into multi-site. You've already talked about that, buy other businesses. Question 2, how do you build, this is a good one. How do you build a strong personal brand alongside a business brand without one overshadowing the other? I've been selected to represent a political party in the local council elections in Basildon and Billericay. What advice would you have for me?
Why do you want to do that? If you haven't had, what's your view on the political thing?
I think, me personally, I think there's a lot of, I don't think the politicians have been as honest and upfront. And I think one of the politicians made a very, very good statement that not a single member of the Labour front bench has ever worked in private business. Mm-hmm. And I think almost the way that I see it is if you hand a 16-year-old £1 million, 1 or 2% may save that. The rest are just going to spend. If they never had the money, how do they know how to spend the money? There's a lot of things going on in the local Basildon area, especially around like the town centre and that sort of thing. So I'm very much a person that enjoys the political side of things because I know we can do better, and I know that I have that. How can I say it? I have I have the confidence in and the ability to be able to stand there and take concerns from residents or have conversations with people. A lot of the time, a lot of these politicians, they say they care, but they don't. And I think that's what makes a differentiator for me. And that's why I wanted to go down that route. I think when I sent the application, it was just before they'd declined or they'd stopped the local elections in our area. So it would be for the next one now, but I just wanted to just really get some feedback on not the personal brand side of things and whether you think.
I get asked a lot about this personally. I think it's very frustrating for entrepreneurial people because things don't get done because it's political, and you all want to go, well, why is there no common sense? Well, everyone's got an opinion, and I think with common sense, not that common. And, and it's a lot of time, and I would focus on your business. And then when you've got abundance of time, then go into it.
Okay.
That's my view. But building a personal brand and a business brand, I think you shouldn't care about. That's not really your question. It's whether you should get into politics and run a business is really the question, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That's the real question. Politics is a full-time gig, and being an entrepreneur is a full-time gig. Saying that, I am going to Westminster tomorrow to meet two very senior politicians that have asked me to do something.
Are you? What are you going to do?
Well,
Get rid of Rachel. Get
No.
rid of Rachel.
no, I mean, my dream role would be...
You're not joining with that, Chuds, either?
No, my dream role would be to be in a position of telling them what I think they should do, but without, it's just, it is difficult. But the reason I won't do it is because of the time it will take still.
Understood. No, that is a very fair
You're not ready.
analysis.
I mean, you can't, you're just not ready for giving up because that's like it is all consuming. I mean, whether you like him or don't like him. I watched Tony Blair. I've watched all ex-prime ministers do interviews, and all of them say, I've watched Michael Gove do an interview. When you go into politics, that is your life. It's a marriage breaker.
Yeah.
For lots and lots of people. It is say goodbye to your children growing up.
My pal was the mayor of our local town for a year, and he couldn't do anything else. It was like 14 hours a day, and that's like a apolitical thing as well.
Yeah.
But even those sort of like public service roles, he was like he'd never worked more in his life.
Great thing to do though, if you are entrepreneurial and you're retired and you've got abundance of time, and you can really bring your 10,000 hours of practice. Yeah, I think it's a great thing.
He didn't like that.
Didn't like that.
For a moment.
Oh, no, I'm still here. Sorry, I
Sorry.
thought we were talking between each other. No, I understood.
He's right into the Labour Party going, thanks, no thanks, see you later, bye.
Well, I doubt it. I don't think it was the Labour Party that asked him.
No, it wasn't Labour.
It was a certain Mr. Farage, probably.
Say nothing.
Question 3 then, third and final question. When you have so many ideas and opportunities, how do you decide which ones to pursue and which ones to park? That leads on from the previous question a little bit.
You have to focus, follow one course until successful. I think you've opened a restaurant, using your shop as an analogy, and you've got it going and it's starting to make money, and you're now thinking about opening your second restaurant, or in your case, your second shop. And it's very, very hard to go from 1 to 2. It's even harder than going from 0 to 1. Going 10 to 12 is much easier, or going from 10 shops to 20 shops is much easier. So now you have to really look at buying out other shops that are doing okay, but then you put your magic on top, and that can be very, 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 very successful.
No, thank you very much. I really, really do appreciate your feedback and your
So
analysis
my
of the
wedding ring is too big because I've lost weight. Can you sort that out for me?
Absolutely, we can.
What's it going to cost me?
Not a single tanner.
Yeah,
I'll arrange for Sapphire, our business operations manager, to pop down and collect it from you, James. And if there's any other jewellery that needs polishing or cleaning for you in the team,
my wife's engagement ring as well, plus my nan's that's died. I've got my
Your
great
girlfriend, all that
granddad.
stuff you bought for your girlfriend,
Yeah,
your
my
wife
4
stuff.
mistresses. I've got 2,000 staff. I'd like to do something free for them. No, that'd be. Then I will mention it on the podcast as well once it comes back to me, and I will talk about your amazing customer service.
Oh, you're an angel. Thank you so much.
Brilliant.
Amazing stuff. Sam, where can people find out more information about you and your beautiful jewellery and come and visit you, mate?
So if you want to come and buy British handmade jewellery made of the highest quality by us here in Essex, you can go to www.thefamilyjeweler.co.uk, or you can find us on Instagram, Facebook and TikTok as The Family Jeweler or Samuel Perry.
Awesome stuff. Well,
Good stuff.
Thank you for being on the podcast, mate. I wish you well with all of your ventures, and thanks for being on the show. Good luck with everything, mate.
Yeah,
thank you
good
very
stuff.
much. It's been an absolute pleasure, and it's something. This has been a moment I've dreamed of for many, many years. So thank you for having me on. It really does mean a lot.
Samuel,
Thank
if you do come to Business Masterclass, will you make sure you come up and say hello to me? Because I'd love to shake your hand and say well done. Because there's not many 20-somethings that would go, yeah, I'm going to open a jewellery shop. That's just not what they do. And we need people like you. And I thank you for helping us grow our UK economy.
No, thank you very much. And I will definitely be there. Me and Perry will definitely be there at the Business Masterclass. And as I said, I will definitely come up and shake your hand. Thank you very much.
Brilliant.
Nice one. Cheers, mate. All the best. Take care. Cheers, Sam. Take care.
Cheers.
What a lovely fella.
Liked him.
What a lovely fella. Hey, I tell you what as well, we look for those.
The 40-year-old him is going to be wealthy.
Is he just? But had years and years of experience on somebody else's dime, learnt his trade at Harrods' expense. Has been trained by literally the best in retail, can now implement all that stuff that he's learned. Apprenticeship on some. My dad used to say it to me, learn on someone else's dime.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that does work. Yeah, sometimes that does work.
Right, let's do the 8 traits of the greats. This is the time of the show when award-winning entrepreneur James Sinclair looks at the traits.
I think he's going to do well, this guy.
I think he's going to do very well.
He's going to do some good numbers, baby.
Right, so have you got your...
Yep, I've got it up here. So...
Types in traits into his phone, hopes for the best.
Starts with the end in mind.
I
don't think we can give him a full one.
Really?
Because he didn't say exactly what he wants the end to look like, did he?
No, maybe. No, he said 10 to 15. I think you're being harsh there, Sinclair.
All right, so he's having a one then.
Yeah.
Okay. They're passionate about their cause.
Yeah, he loves it, doesn't he?
Untold amounts of resilience. I think the Etsy
thing. Yeah, 25
You're
grand.
not having any of your turnover for 3 months.
Yeah.
Right, let's go and open a shop.
On the 22nd.
Yeah.
That is poor,
we'll give him
that.
that.
Yeah, good.
Great relationships with people. You can't do that job without.
No.
And he was lovely.
Yeah.
Commercial awareness. I actually think we've got to give him that. JB.
I think so, yeah. He knows his ATV.
He's an innovator. Well, he started fixing the jewellery upstairs, didn't he?
Yeah.
Not anyone. This is looking very
He's
good.
doing good here.
Born marketeer. No, I don't give that.
No, that's fair.
I don't want him getting too big. He's got to come on in a year to get an 8.
Yeah.
And they stay teachable. I think he's got that as well. I mean,
coming in.
This is a 7. JB.
7?
It's a 7.
Not far from entrepreneurial heaven. He's got himself a 7. Oh, so that's the wrong jingle, isn't it? We like to play it for Chuds.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got a 7. It's entrepreneurial heaven.
No, that's very good.
That is good. 31
years
very
old.
Deservable. Look at his face. He literally looks pained.
Why don't you like it, Chuds? Just don't like the
Sorry,
song.
Chuds.
The mix of you and the jingle, I just think it's awful.
I love
He's
it.
not even listening to it on his headphones.
No, I really love
I'm going
it.
to turn his headphones right up.
Yeah. Makes me feel so good. It's got like a Blues Brothers vibe to it.
Yeah, and you're not the Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
We could be, couldn't we?
Yeah.
For your next charity party, we should do the Blues Brothers.
Yeah, funny. I love that film. That was one of my favourite films
Very
growing
good
up. That is a great film.
That is a good film. Good songs in that film as well. Shake Your Tail Feather. I mean, come on now. One of the best ones out there.
The Hardy Hardy High.
Howdy, howdy, ho!
Yes, great film.
He's not a fan of that. He is not a fan of that. Right, before we rattle ourselves out of here, it's time for a bit of this quickly. It's time for the business quiz.
I love that. I don't think we'll notice JB actually mixed the jingles there. Look at him go.
Time. Thanks, Chuds. Right, inside this envelope is a quizzical question about the business sector we have just been talking about. Myself, Bert the Burke, who knows pretty much nothing. I think you won last time.
Yeah.
And the entrepreneurial icon, James Sinclair, troubler of Westminster. What are you doing there tomorrow? You're not telling me about that. You have to tell me off air.
So I think, shall I say?
No, you can't, can you?
I can't say who I'm meeting.
Who are you meeting?
Dame Pity Patel
Are you?
and Sir John Whittingdale.
Are you?
Yeah, they've asked me to go in and have a chat with them.
Wow.
I know what it's about, but what it's about, I'm not going to divulge. That would just annoy everyone
Oh,
so
that
much.
will, won't it?
But I might let you know in 10 episodes. So you have
What
to keep on
what
listening.
went down? Interesting. Okay, cool. Well, anyway, inside this envelope is a question related to the sector. Right. In 2023, oh, hang on a second. Here's my jingle. In 2023, what was the UK's revenue in global watch and jewellery market? So in 2023, what was the UK's revenue in the global watch and jewellery market?
So, do you know the answer to this one, mate?
No idea.
So can you play along? I think it would be a 3-way. Oh,
Hello.
so it's watches as well, did you say?
Yeah, in 2023, what was the UK's revenue in the global watch and jewellery market?
Well, it's a B, isn't it? It's definitely
It's
beginning
definitely
with
a
a
B.
B.
So we're saying that what we've sold here in terms of global watches, so UK sales of jewellery and watches, is that what we're saying? Even if they're not British brands.
Times.
Chuds is in for it as well.
Where are you going with, Chuds? Have you got an idea?
I'm actually just trying to work out the.
He's actually
average.
just trying to work it out on Google.
No, I'm on my calculator. Believe me.
Just asking
Trust me.
ChatGPT.
This what was the average household? £6,500.
Oh, I see what he's done here.
And
Six
then
to
times
yeah.
how many families?
27 million households in the UK.
So then
6 times 27.
in 1 year, but they're not all new purchases in 1 year, are they? So
No.
I'm going to half it, or maybe even a quarter of it.
So I was going 70 million people times 1,000, but then halving it because a lot of those are children.
So one second.
Right.
Because there are some people that go out and whack out 15 grand on a Rolex, 20 grand on a Rolex, or 3 grand on an engagement ring.
Yeah. I was going to tell you mine. I went 9 billion. I had no workings out. I just panicked and put 9 billion.
I'll go 2 billion.
No, I'm going 7.5 billion.
Oh, 7.5 billion, 9 billion. And what did you say, Chuds? 2? Let's find out. Oh, I've got the thing, haven't I? Sorry. Here we go. The answer is, drum roll, please. The answer is $17.5 billion. Yes.
That's a lot of dough, right?
That is. The UK is the 5th largest market in the world for this sector. With what other countries are bigger than us for buying jewellery? Go.
America,
Correct.
India.
Correct.
China.
Correct.
So just places with a lot of people.
Well, no,
Sort of.
no, because
Not necessarily
Germany's
the
got
last
more
one.
people than us.
And has Germany got more?
Das ist 9.
France.
9. No.
Australia.
Incorrect.
No.
They've already got about 4
Japan.
people.
Japan.
Japan is correct.
Because
James
Japan's
Sinclair
got more
takes-
than us.
Have they?
Yeah, they're about 20 million more people than us.
Really? I did not know that. There you go. The global...
Japan is a massive economy.
It is
Massive
huge, isn't it?
economy. Considering they were nuked 60 years ago and they've had to rebuild from...
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Well, it's more than 60 years ago now, wasn't it? When was the World War?
85 years ago.
Yeah.
The global jewellery industry is estimated to be worth just under 300 billion. 300 billion. The UK also features in the top 10 importers of gold, silverware and jewellery. So there you go.
So lots of people travel to the UK and come to our luxury shops and do their international purchases, which is very true.
Why is that? Are we more...
I don't know. There's certain cities around the world that, you know, people go to New York for a spend up, don't they? People go to London for a spend up.
Spit up? Have you ever
People
been
go to Paris for a spend up, don't they?
They do. Have
Well, I'm
been
not
to
keen
Paris?
on Paris.
No, I was about to say that.
I'm not keen on Paris.
I felt a bit like edgy in Paris.
It's not my, I think that people could talk about that as one of the world's best cities.
Yeah.
It is not, in my opinion. There's New York, there's London. I love Rome. Rome's a brilliant place.
I've never been.
Have you been to Rome, Chuds?
Yeah, it's easily one of the best places on the
Is
planet.
it?
It's so impressive.
Do you go there with your missus as well?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, Rome is-
He's living it, isn't he?
Rome is amazing.
There isn't a word for it. I don't think amazing
No.
is even, it's crazy.
What about it is so good?
The way I describe it, and this sounds really weird, you know when you watch the video of the universe and it keeps zooming out and zooming out and zooming out,
Yeah.
and you just feel like the most meaningless thing on the planet. You think, what's the point in life? When I saw Rome, I felt the opposite. I was like, damn, human beings are cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I like about Rome? It's clean as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it was clean. I mean, when I was looking at the Colosseum, I wasn't thinking about how clean it was, but
No,
He went to Rome and thought about like the quantitative goodness of humanity. And you went, oh, it's clean.
It's clean.
it does make a because it makes you. It does make a difference when it's well looked after. That's what I
Yeah.
sort of mean. And other cities I've been to, and I think, oh, this is not well looked after.
That's like Paris. Paris is a bit grubby, isn't it? It feels grubby.
I thought that, but I thought we might have a lot of French listeners, and I
Yeah.
didn't want to slag off.
Je
there.
suis
But you said
désolé.
it.
Je suis désolé. Problème des Français très dirty.
I've been to. Hong Kong. That's flipping busy. Hong Kong. Flipping busy. I've been to lots of Chinese cities. I mean, the scale of a Chinese city makes us look like villages. You just can't.
Do you like going to China?
like going to China. I like the people. They're nice people.
Do you like doing business in China?
Yeah, I like the people. Yeah, I think they're good people to do business with. They're honourable. There's always, good and bad.
Like the whole sort of like travelling around.
I am never really in a
travel mode. You're there for work.
It's proper craft.
Yeah.
And I'm going around big exhibitions and factories.
Yeah.
Don't really like the food. I like the food in Hong Kong. I don't like the food in China. But I like the food in Hong Kong. It's because we were there and we've still sort of,
have a foothold.
Yeah, they've got a 3-pin plug. I like that. I think that's good.
You like a 3-pin plug?
Britain has made the best plugs in the world.
I was just about to say that.
Everyone
every
else
week.
is, stop doing that. Like you wake up in the morning and the thing's fallen out on its own. Because it just, if you put a bit of weight on one of those wobbly plugs and then it starts falling out, drives me really potty. No, the British plug is the best.
Good British plug. Good British plug. That's what we like.
It's so true, though. I don't know how the rest of the world operate. Their wall plugs are so bad.
Well, it's like 3 old men on this podcast all of a sudden. Right.
No, but that doesn't get talked about enough, really.
No, where's your favourite place? That's good conversation. Where's your favourite place you've been in the world? And you think, God, this is a good place.
I loved Thailand.
See, I've never been there.
Thailand's great. I really love Australia.
I've never been there.
I love Australia. Australia's got like the optimism of the Americans, the sense of humour of the British, and a lifestyle that they really work hard to sort of curate a nice experience for themselves. It's great. That would be one of my favourite places.
We've been to India, haven't we, Chad? That was a busy joint.
Yeah, it was crazy as well.
Did you like it? Was that good? Was that...
Yeah, again, we didn't really.
Sensory overload.
See, that is not clean, is it? I mean, not being horrible, it's not. It's not.
We were in Mumbai, so no. Do I like it? It was interesting from a novelty perspective, but we didn't really see it because we were.
Would it be the sort of place you want to go do street photography?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Would you?
In that sense, the culture and the people and that. It's a beautiful place, but it's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
It's not serene, I'll say that. It's, interesting.
Well, there you go.
Just one of the best places. A little island called Mallorca. Portable.
Oh, I love
That's
Mallorca.
a good place, that.
I love Mallorca.
Mallorca's a good place.
It's a couple of hours flight.
Yeah, I like it.
Nice pace of life.
Yeah.
Muy bien.
I like that. I'm going there in May for my best friend's 40th birthday. Marky T. He's got a big villa and we're all going out there and I'm very much looking forward to that.
Oh, that's going to be nice, isn't it?
Been to Dubai?
No.
Up or down on Dubai, Chad? You like Dubai?
I've not been. I'm not interested though.
But you've been to Abu Dhabi, haven't you?
Yeah.
Liked it?
It was okay.
It's okay.
There you go. But Italy, Italy's good. Italy.
I vouch for that as well.
Yeah.
Italy is good. And the food. Mamma mia. Me and Chuds have started a trend and people catch on to it. So when we go to Italian restaurants, we've been together and we've carried it on. We order a pizza as an appetizer.
Do you?
So because we have two mains and then we can't decide, can you, on what to get? Because you always want to try their pizza.
Yeah, because it's good pizza. You know
so
where
wherever
the
you go, we order and we also say...
Oh, there we go. Recording from Battersea Dogs Home tonight.
Whatever you order, we also have a pizza for the table. And that just means...
Just a margarita.
Just a plain margarita for the table.
Yeah.
Maybe the few little basil leaves.
Do you want water for the table? Yeah, can we get water for the table and that pizza? We'll have a pizza for the table.
Well, we do it often now. Even when we're in this country, I go, we'll have a pizza for the table.
I hate going, I fancy a pizza, but the spag bol looks good. Or the carbonara looks good. And it's like, well, why don't you get spag bol? I'll get carbonara.
Absolutely
and we'll share a pizza. And
because also, you don't need a whole pizza. You just need 1 or 2 slices.
You do. You get it out of your system.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
You guys, innovative, the pair of you.
If you don't innovate, you evaporate.
Well, so you keep saying, and you obviously live by that credos.
Okay, guys, if you'd like to come along to Business Masterclass or one of my events, all details are on my website, jamessinclair.net. We'd love to see you there. If you're watching us on YouTube, do us a big fat favour. Please, can you subscribe to the channel? That'd be very, very helpful. And also, if you're listening on Spotify and watching on Spotify, which apparently, Chuds, we're doing very well at, and Spotify's destroying Apple nearly.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. More people are watching us on Spotify than Apple now?
They are, and YouTube. Well...
Oh.
Sorry, what I meant is there's more audio listens than there is YouTube viewers.
Right.
Hold fire, say that again.
Yeah, hold that again.
Audio listeners
There's more audio listeners.
Which I mean, Spotify and Apple.
Yeah.
And then there is YouTube viewers.
And there's YouTube viewers. How many viewers on Spotify now, though?
I haven't got the numbers right now.
But is Spotify getting more listens than Apple? Has that happened yet?
I
It
can't
was
remember
close,
last time I
wasn't it?
checked. I'll double check and come back to you in the next episode.
Because if that has happened, that's a big shift.
I think it has, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's big. Because Apple's generally got an older audience.
Because, oh yeah.
Do you know what made me think that, though? Is because we just said if you don't innovate or you evaporate, we think, I think all three of us agree, that Spotify are doing better at the innovation of the podcast
100%.
delivery than Apple. And that's the thing, you think, everyone would say, well, Apple, you're the kingpins, I mean, they were the people, Steve Jobs, I remember in his keynote speeches talking about podcasts.
It's called a podcast because it had to work on an iPod first. That's why it's called a podcast.
Is that right?
That's right, yeah. In 2003, they had to do what's called an RSS syndication. So they wanted to see, could you deliver something remotely via RSS? And it had to work on an iPod. So we'll call it a podcast. That's where the name came
Well,
from.
there you go. So
There you go.
they're the creators.
They're creators of the...
They were innovators.
Yeah.
But they're doing Sony now. They're trying to live off the brand.
Yeah.
But then Spotify have gone,
No way.
we're going to out-innovate you, baby. I like the fact you can leave comments on Spotify, which you can't do on Apple. So we can if you're listening to us on Spotify, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of the show, because that really does, the comments really do help us improve the show. We do read them and
And the ratings and reviews.
Yeah.
Ratings and reviews really, really help.
Yeah.
So please, and pass the pod on to one other person. I realise there's about 17 things we just told you to do, but if you think there's someone in your circle of influence who is growing a business, you think this would help them actually, send this on to one person. You can click the little 3-dot button in the right-hand corner of whichever device you're listening on and click copy link, and then you can send it across to them.
Funny thing is on podcasts, just before we go, like the time is now, isn't it, to make a podcast if it's right for your business, because they are definitely now in the zeitgeist, aren't they? People, I know lots of people listening to podcasts.
There is, more than a quarter of the population listens every week now. 25% of the UK population listen every single week.
Do you think podcast has overtaken radio yet?
They say not, and I don't think it has, but...
How long? 5 years?
5 years, yeah. Maybe 10. Like us lot are the last generation of LBC, Radio 2, Virgin Radio. People won't listen.
LBC and GB News are doing very well at spinning off into podcasts and social media.
content, yeah.
I mean, they're lucky because it's news, so they've always got new stuff.
Yeah,
But, I mean, GB News, a lot of people don't like GB News, but looking at them as how to build an audience.
And they're one of the biggest news brands, aren't they, in the country because of how they spin socials.
And they have used the internet and new mediums. And I think
their viewership is tiny, but their reach and impressions is massive.
if you look at them compared to, Sky must be going, oh no, they're a load
It's
of
below.
rubbish.
I think it's below them. I like your Rupert Murdoch voice you did there. That was really quite impressive. Subconsciously there for Sky. Well done.
That wasn't
That was
Australian, was it?
That was Rupert.
Was it?
That was very Rupert. He doesn't even sound Australian.
Does he not?
No, he sounds more like an out and out.
Is he still alive, Rupert Murdoch?
He is somewhere on. Yeah,
He must be nearly 100 now.
but getting towards his 90s, wasn't he? I think he's still very involved behind the scenes of like pulling strings. He is still a very powerful dude.
Very powerful dude indeed.
Right, are we done?
94.
He's
94? Wow, we were. There you go. How powerful will you be at 94? I reckon you're going to be Essex's Murdoch.
Oh, I've listened and read lots of stuff about that man. They call him the Kingmaker, didn't they? Because he decided who was going to be Prime Minister of this country for lots of years.
And he did. Same in Australia. Same in America. Fox is still massive in America, isn't it?
Do you remember GoldenEye, the James Bond film?
Yes.
No, Tomorrow Never Dies. The guy that was the media mogul.
Yes.
So I went to college for about 3 months.
Did you?
Yeah.
What did you study?
Media studies.
Did you? Of course you did.
And that was when sort of just after Tomorrow Never Dies came out and all that. And they said basically that guy, they're portraying him as Murdoch.
Of course they are.
Controlling. It's very powerful, isn't it?
It is very powerful.
As they say, the pen is mightier than the sword.
Too right.
See you soon, gang.
Bye.
Thanks for watching today, gang. I hope you enjoyed the show. Now, look, we're looking for some great businesses to come on the podcast. If you've got challenges, but you're desperate to grow your business and you can't necessarily work out how to do it on your own, you'll be a perfect candidate to come here on the podcast. It's absolutely free to come on the show. Go to my website, jamessinclair.net, and there's a podcast button. Click on the podcast button, fill in the application form, and we'll do our very best to get you on the show and try and grow your business. If you're loving the podcast, make sure you subscribe to the channel by clicking here. And why not give this one a watch? I think you'll like it.